Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. It's true. We're covering Lockdown 2008, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, 17 years ago. And one of them still wrestling.
Wild.
Yeah,
Yep.
It is absolutely wild. So I'm looking forward to covering this one. Big Kurt Angle mark. Have never seen this match. I feel like all this stuff in this era from TNA is just really, really good. So it'll be fun. Any reason in particular you chose this match?
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe. Well, why not? This was kind of one of the many rematches that they had in their career, and not just rematches, but matches that they had. And so, it's supposed to be a fantastic one. Like I said, I know nothing about it either. I don't, even from when I did the script and the notes, I don't remember who even wins. And so we're both about to be surprised.
Good, man. Well, let's jump right into the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
April 13th, 2008. It's TNA Lockdown 2008. We're in Lowell, Massachusetts. How do you pronounce that arena name? Do you have any idea?
The Songus? Songus? I don't know.
You got to look up what Songus is because now I'm curious. 5,500 in attendance. We start off with Jay Lethal retaining his X Division championship in a 6-man match. Austin Creed, Christopher Daniels, Johnny Devine, Shark Boy, and Sanjay Dutt in 10 minutes. Then had a Queen of the Cage match to determine the number one contender. So Lockdown, everything is in a cage, just a lot of cage matches. Roxy Laveau is going to defeat Angelina Love, Christy Hemme, Jackie Moore, Raka Khan, Salinas, Tracy Brooks, and Velvet Sky in 5 minutes. So, you have like a 5-minute cage match with all these people, all these entrances. BG James is going to defeat Kip James in a 6 sides of steel cage match that lasts 8 minutes. Then we get a 6-team cuffed in the cage match. Frankie Kazarian and Super Eric are going to defeat Black Rain and Relic, the Latin American Exchange, the Motor City Machine Guns, Petey Williams and Scott Steiner, and the Rock and Rave Infection in 10 minutes.
Sure.
Now, another cage match. Gail Kim and ODB are going to defeat Awesome Kong and Raisha Saeed in 8 minutes.
Sure.
Booker T and Charmel are then going to defeat Robert Roode and Peyton Banks in another cage match. Then, in a lethal lockdown match in 26 minutes, so I guess this is like our version of War Games, potentially.
Yep.
Team Cage of Christian Cage, Kevin Nash, Matt Morgan, Rhino, and Sting are going to defeat Team Tomko of AJ Styles, James Storm, Tomko, and Team 3D. Okay. And then in our main event, Kurt Angle, our TNA World Heavyweight Champion, is going to go one-on-one with Samoa Joe. Angle's title versus Joe's career. Jeff, how do we get to this match? And by the way, you've been kind enough to share the match ratings of this. So
yeah,
it appears our main event was well received. The lead up to the main event, that lethal lockdown match, was well received, and everything else was not so great. Yeah.
So trivia for the day, the Tsongas Arena, named after the former senator of Massachusetts, Paul Tsongas. So
sure. Paul Tsongas. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, of course.
Did some great bipartisan legislation in the 1950s.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I would hope.
Who could forget?
Knows? So, yeah. Okay, so main event on this one, of course, it was 6 sides of steel cage match. Like you said, this was for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship against.
By the way, can you imagine sitting in an arena for 3 hours just staring at cage match after cage match after cage match? I mean,
it'd be
watching it on
brutal.
TV, at least you're in the cage sometimes and there's enough variety. But like sitting there staring at that cage and looking through a cage, maybe it's like a baseball game where you're behind the net at home plate. I don't know. It sounds awful, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, but I mean, it's better, it would be bad. So, so getting that. And so it was this show taking place going back to April 13th, but this match was announced on March 13th, 1 month prior, just on Impact by Jim Cornette. Joe said that, if he didn't win the title at Lockdown, that he would quit TNA, of course, and story, whatever. But then it was really weird because so they announced it on March 13th, and then Joe wasn't on another episode until April 3rd or April 10th. So literally 3 days before this show is when they announce the match. One of your participants disappears for the better part of a month, and then 3 days later shows up with who's training for the match, being why he was gone. They then had a contract signing that week between the two of them, making it official where if he lost the match, he would quit professional wrestling. And so, but this was, like I said, the fourth match. The fifth match, rather, that these guys had. And so Angle coming into this one had won 3 of 4. So you had the Genesis in 2006, Genesis in November of 2006, Turning Point in December of 2006, Final Resolution in January of 2007, Hard Justice in August of 2007, and then you get this match in April of 2008. So these two had been feuding for close to 18 months at this point. And so, and having matches and doing this more than 18 months. And so, these guys, it's one of those, you knew you could book them. It's almost like a Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Like, they're just going to go out, put on a great match. You don't got to worry about what's happening. It doesn't need a ton of storyline, but they're going to be perfectly fine in the ring together. And so that's why we got this one. It's just a little, two great competitors who are having great matches at this time. Let's throw them out there and see what happens. And like I said, Angle winning. I don't know how this match wouldn't be awesome. But again, it's just and Eric Bischoff's been outspoken about what a stupid idea this whole cage match after cage match is. So, it'd be like going and watching, 5 elimination chamber matches in a row or something. So, all right, we got a lot to talk about. We're ready to go. We've got a YouTube. This is through the TNA Wrestling YouTube channel with 5 million subscribers. Lockdown 2008, Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle. We're starting at the 8-minute mark because there's a lot of entrances and shenanigans prior. Jeff, are you ready? Let's do it.
All right, it's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
Understand, most people say this is mean because her parents are in the corner, but I have a deal with my wife Nikki that she's not allowed to see me for the moment in the arena until the fight is over. With her being in the corner right there by Kurt,
okay,
his side of the cage.
I'm legitimately okay. So Kurt Angle's ex-wife is now Karen Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett's current wife. And so that obviously all became storyline as we went through.
Yeah.
Okay. So she got kicked out. Now, okay, interestingly enough, and I don't know if you knew this or not, Kurt Angle is dressed in, I guess I'd call it MMA gear. So they look like they're having an MMA fight, that's actually how they're, obviously it's not the rules of this match, but they are, you would think you're watching a UFC fight right now. Angle even dressed as a UFC fighter. They've got they're not wearing gloves. They've got their hands taped up. Angle is, I believe, barefoot.
Yes.
Okay, so Angle's barefoot. Okay, so I didn't, this is wild.
It's a weird look. It really is.
It's a really weird look. And Angle's trying to kick them. I mean, I guess if you're going to do 5 pay-per-view matches, you gotta try some different stuff here. But very interesting. And I guess and maybe there was something like in the build to this that had this come up. But I mean, it's interesting because it's not like they're wrestling a UFC match, right? I mean, they're just wrestling a match in a cage, and it's not like the other matches were presented this way. So. Yeah. Really. Yeah,
it is
interesting.
Just gonna see how it plays out. Yeah, it's just weird. So, wanted to talk to you. I know we just got a lot. We always, when we're texting each other throughout the week, we're like, oh shit, we got to talk about this. We got to do this. And so this is one. So I'm curious, and we've talked about it on this show before, and we're rapidly approaching WrestleMania at this point. We've got at this point just over 2 weeks. Have they priced themselves out? No. we saw some meet and greets that you and I were talking about. I'm actually pulling up StubHub right now as we're sitting here. What is going on?
So here's my take on it, and feel free to disagree or have a different perspective on it. So WWE is a for-profit, publicly traded company under the name TKO. And they have an obligation to shareholders to maximize their profits. And what they have figured out how to do is make a lot of money on premium offerings. And that would be the $5,000 front row seat or whatever they're going for. It would be the meet and greets. It would be $8,500 to sit in the second row at the Hall of Fame and meet Triple H and Lex Luger and the other Hall of Famers. So they are making money in areas that they were not making money in prior. They basically didn't sell corporate sponsorships prior to Nick Khan's influence. And even that took a while to get going. Now you see all the advertisements and the match sponsorships and everything else. This is just a different piece of it. So, as a fan, do I love it? But no, but a lot of this is supply and demand. Now, here's the thing, $8,500 to meet Triple H and Lex Luger prior to the Hall of Fame. Well, it's not like it was free 10 years ago. So that opportunity actually didn't exist prior. And if you really want to meet Lex Luger, go to WrestleCon. He'll be there all 4 days. Triple H, obviously a little harder to have access to. So, a lot of these premium things just did not exist. Now, in terms of ticket prices, do I think they're outrageous? Yes. The problem is, the product's incredibly hot right now. Wrestling's kind of cool. People aren't afraid to say, I like wrestling. I go to wrestling shows. So even if WWE said, look, we're going to come out with affordable tickets. Yeah, if you got on at the right time and if you were able to get the ticket, yeah, you might be able to get it cheaper, but there'd be a ton of scalpers. And those scalpers would put tickets on StubHub, and those tickets would go for a lot more money than the face value. So they're really only pricing things how they are. Now, another thing too with these premium offerings, like the close-up tickets and stuff, and I know people get up in arms over the packages for those, but that's how WWE makes money. I mean, even take the Hall of Fame, right? So how many people are going to buy the $800 or $8,500 meet and greet and for the Hall of Fame? Here's the crazy part, Jeff. If 120 people do it, that's $1 million of found money out of nowhere. And Nick Khan said it on an investor call one time. He's like, with all due respect, we don't make money when people sit in the 500 section at Lucas Oil Stadium for Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
We want those fans to be there. We want those families to have access to the product, but it's like a courtesy, right? I mean, they make money on the first 5 rows of the venue. They make money on the floor seats. So this is the same thing where if 240 people pay $8,500, then you just found $2 million. And oh, by the way, if we put a upcoming movie signage at the Hall of Fame, oh, there's another $250,000 or $500,000. And this stuff adds up, and they're finding money in places they weren't previously doing. You know, the NFL's really expensive too. What does it cost to have a suite at an NFL stadium? What does it cost to sit in the first 10 rows of the 50-yard line? What does it cost to go to the Super Bowl? So the product's getting hotter, it's getting more popular, and it's looking like everything else. The good news in all of this is the product's basically free to watch. Okay. Mm-hmm. You need Netflix, you need Peacock, whatever. The product's free. It's like the NFL. You might need a little streaming. You might need Amazon Prime. So I find that it's incredibly accessible still. And if you want to go, yeah, it's expensive. If you want premium, it's insanely expensive, but it's kind of like every other entertainment genre. And it's still a hell of a lot cheaper to go to a wrestling show than it is to go to a Taylor Swift concert. So
yeah.
Thoughts, disagree, agree, anything else you'd add to that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, you know, you look around, like in all of us, like where we live, like all of a sudden you know, there's apartment complexes that are going up, and now it's luxury apartments, it's deluxe apartments. They're no different than any other apartment. Like the amenities might be a little bit better, but like you said, think of when Pat McAfee got into it with the Colts, and like you said, those premium experiences. He has an on the field suite that's behind the goalpost. And it was a big deal when he was pissed about, you know, what the team was doing. And he's like, we're not going to show up this weekend. So to have an empty suite on the field, like, it's glaring. And so it's a big deal when people are pissed about it and they're paying that premium price. Like you said, the people paying the premium don't care. Like, that's just like, they're doing whatever you want. And they have shifted their model now to where I'm looking at it right now, actually, because I was kind of curious. They don't have any house shows on the calendar. There's nothing, like, they're not doing those things anymore.
Wow. I didn't realize that. Interesting.
So I'm looking at it right now. Like, if you just look at tickets everywhere, and I'm all the way through August, like coming up into SummerSlam, there isn't a single house show. There is when they're in Europe, but that I get. They've got to do, like, they're doing the European stuff. So that makes sense. Now, I was curious, a 2-day combo, Saturday and Sunday on Ticketmaster with fees. And so you're looking at sitting.
Don't tell me the price. Just tell me the setup, and I want to guess the price.
Yep. Okay. So this is 4th row, sitting like on the floor opposite of the hard cam. So you would be 4th row on the opposite side of the ring for both nights to have the 4th row with fees. What do you think?
I'm going to guess $1,500.
1,500?
I'm not even close, am I?
4 numbers, you're not even close. And so
I was thinking $750. I was thinking $750 a show.
Currently listed on Ticketmaster, it's $18,000.
I mean, if they get it, they get it. It's the same people that are on all these shows, and God bless them for however they made their money. It's my Trinidad buddy and the green shirt guy, and
yeah. Right. Yeah. So where I know you to sit, like you're opposite the hard cam, like
not anymore.
Well, not anymore. No. But where you used to on the floor,
347. I'll be staring at the Jumbotron.
But those on the rail kind of seats. And so again, this is, I've got row 7 and row 10, both nights, 2 nights with fees. What do you think?
7 and 10 on the aisle?
Yes.
I mean, $2,500 for both nights?
Yeah. Row 7, you're looking at 10 grand after fees. Row 10, you're looking at 6,300. And so
what we need to do is monitor that closer and see if I'm assuming Ticketmaster fluctuates their face value tickets now. So I would assume that they may go down closer, or they put them on StubHub.
Yeah. So let's get into the cheap
So
seats,
one other question. I saw a rumor, and who knows if it's true. Is it true that they have a lot of tickets still available?
Yes, there is. If you kind of do the floor map, there is a decent amount of tickets left. Yeah. And so I'm looking at that right now. Just on Sunday, it actually looks like they're opening up a lot. And so looking at the map right now, like the corners behind the screen, it looks like they just recently opened up. It looks like kind of way back a little bit, they added some rows because of setup potentially. And then the nosebleeds there's a lot of seats up there, but this is just for Sunday. So that was a package. So let's look at just Sunday. Again, like we're going to kind of do the same type seating area where we said. So that was section 4. This is one of the platinum seats. That's 10 grand. But lowest price is, so if you're sitting in the 318s, which they actually go up to 400 there, 318 would kind of be behind the screen almost, like up in that angle, 387 after fees. And to get a little further away from like the screen and have to deal with that, like you're looking at closer to 500-600. So it's just, if you want to go, you're paying for it. But it is hard to justify two, which has been a good match so far. You got him in an ankle lock right now. Do I spend? I would rather at that point spend $50 on paying for just a pay-per-view versus doing any of that, because it's built for TV anymore. It's a TV production. It's not the same live. It's good live, but it's not the same.
Well, and remember too, like if you're going for both nights, okay. But if you're only going for one night, I mean, if you go Saturday, you're probably not going to see Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I mean, they're getting these prices, but you can't. The cheapest thing you can find after fees in the lower bowl right now is about $750 on StubHub. And I hate saying it, but you go any higher than that, what's the point of being in the building? Oh, cool, fireworks.
Yep. It's curious. I'm looking up right now. I didn't know if there is a way. It looks like there is. You can still just order the premium live event. And so I'm looking to see like how much it would be, and I'm having trouble finding it, which is probably intentional, but yeah. So looks like the crowd's clapping on this one. Everybody's into it. Yeah.
Get close. I'm so much more impressed with Samoa Joe than before.
So I'm assuming you can win pinfall, submission. Are you allowed to escape the cage? Do you even know?
I don't know. I don't know how they work it.
He turns it around. He just countered it on angle.
What do you think about Samoa Joe and the Bloodline? Do you think that would have ever made sense?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, you always got to double check, because they leave out like Nia Jax, because she's technically, they could be the female side of it. Same with Tamina. They could put her in there and make a female side. I feel like every month or every couple of months, all of a sudden there's like some new fucking family member that's like, hey, this guy is in, TNA, and, he looks just like all the others. It's like, Jesus Christ, like calm down, Rikishi, like unbelievable, man. Like, it's just ridiculous. And so, yeah, I feel, and we don't know, like the Bloodline story has lost so much of what it had, because Roman is kind of off doing his own thing now. I think, what do you do with that faction? Like, we don't know as of recording, but like, you've got Jacob Fatu, you've got like, all these, it's just hard with the pushes they were getting with the warring bloodline factions. I don't know what, I feel like they're in limbo at this point. So I don't know what you do. Same with Judgment Day. I feel like we're always talking about they're going to bring in new members, or like, you know, people are going to be leaving the group, and then nothing happens. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so many. I mean, and then you wonder if they try to give the Rock's daughter the rub and get her involved somehow, and if they put those two on screen. I mean, who knows?
I thought she is a wrestler, correct? Like,
yeah,
I know she's just the general manager, but she went through the PC. Like, you know, it doesn't make a ton of sense for, you know, I mean, obviously she's got a good gig, so I mean, why not? And so maybe she does want to do more of that behind the scenes stuff. Who knows? But yeah. Okay, this is turning into a very technical match. Yeah.
Oh, but look how far he's away from the roof. It's like he's in no man's land.
Again! Every time he turns around, look at him! Turn it back in his way!
Rear naked choke.
Great position. He's got it right the chin. He's got it in tight. He's just sinking it a little bit deeper with his right hand. Got his legs crossed over his body. Kurt's stuck. Look at.
I'm going to ask an ignorant question, but what's Joe doing these days? I mean, he's in AEW, but are they using him at all?
I don't, not in a while. Like the little bit of AEW I'm catching. Is he hurt? I don't know. Let's take a look here and see what he's got going on.
I can't believe it.
I got to the ropes.
I will report back to you.
Yeah,
it looks like he was gone because he was filming the second season of Twisted Metal on Peacock, based on the old former video game. Says he returned in January of 2020. Oh yeah. The angle was used to explain Joe going on hiatus. So he was gone as of summer of 24 because he was filming Twisted Metal. He returned January 25 at Maximum Carnage, saving Hook from an attack. In February, the trio of Joe, Hook, and Shibata were named the Ops. Sure. I know that I don't think he was on this last Revolution.
Muscle Buster for the win.
Great move. Love that move.
The Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe! What an effort! What an effort!
Wow. I cannot believe he pulled that out. I thought Kurt was going to get out of the Muscle Buster again. At least one more time. Great job.
Samoa Joe was not
give
on the
Samoa
most
Joe
recent pay-per-view. So yeah.
There you go.
Whatever. So Joe getting the dub. Angle looks dead in the ring. Like, yeah. Good stuff. Okay. Not bad.
No, I enjoyed it. As you like to say, I was sports entertained.
Sports entertained. Can't say that as much anymore, but yeah, absolutely.
All right. Good match. Let's get to the aftermath.
Okay.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
All right. So what'd you think?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like you said, we both caught it like very technical in the end. Like it was stiff, which I'm not surprised by that, but it was also very technical. Like some of the counters, the reversals, like it all made sense. These guys obviously have chemistry together. They know what they're doing when they're out there. And so I think it just makes it that much better though. Yeah. Just showing Joe just pounding on him at this point. Yeah. On his head there, like just crazy stuff, but very good. Yeah. So this one though. And so, at some point during this match, though, and talking about the aftermath here, Angle was legitimately hurt. It could have been right there where he just got turned over by a clothesline. But it believed that he was actually concussed during this match. And so they ended up, though, having a rematch on just an episode of Impact, which it took place, let's see here, it would have been about two weeks later after this one. Joe winning because interference from Scott Steiner. And so, yeah, but then you had Steiner challenging Joe for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and that's why he got involved in that other match. And so, it was a three-way. It got turned into a three-way match because of that interference. So you had Joe, Steiner, and Angle. And so, but Angle was hurt, and so he was actually pulled from the match. So Frankie Kazarian took Angle's place in the match. Joe won that one. Was it Feast or Fired? Yeah. TNA? Yeah, or no, Sacrifice. Sorry. So, duh. So Joe won that one, and then you actually had him holding it for quite a while, actually, oddly enough. And so till the end of that year where he lost it to Sting. And so, just kind of interesting how it played out. The write-ups on this one, though, so 2008, Kurt Angle was number 2. Samoa Joe was number 4. The Observer newsletter on this one, Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe for the TNA title. This was awesome. They did a tale of the tape first and had Frank Trigg there to do commentary. They showed the guys walking to the ring all the way from the locker room. They did a pre-fight video package similar to what you've seen in UFC. People were chanting, Joe is going to kill you. Angle reversed it into the Olympic slam, but Joe kicked out. Angle went back to the ankle lock, but Joe pulled him into a choke. Joe threw him into the cage, super kicked him, and hit a huge muscle buster for the clean pin. This was one fucking awesome match right there. 4 3/4 stars. So, Tom, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this was a 7. No, I'm sorry, 6.5. It was good. I mean, but it's, you're talking 5 times with these guys wrestling. So there's a lot of repetition here. It just feels like, hey, we've got to, create a monthly pay-per-view. So we got to put these guys out there because there's only so many top stars we have. And I just found it to be a little slow and plodding, but that could be personal preference. I just don't. To me, that's boring. And I'm not saying that they needed a bunch of high spots, but it just felt like, a 17-minute UFC match with no breaks and no major strikes and no knockouts. And it was to me, it was a boring UFC fight, I guess is the way I'd put it. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm at just a 6. Like, it just wasn't, again, it was good, but also, like, I just don't know enough. And like you said, they've been going at it for a while. I'm not going to shit on, like, they obviously had chemistry, which I've been saying. So again, I can't complain too much about that. But yeah, this is just one of them things. Yeah, well, not bad though by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm really excited for next week. I don't know why. I just Heart Foundation, Nasty Boys, WrestleMania 7. I just think it's going to be a very colorful and fun match.
Yeah, absolutely. I sure hope so. It should be. Like, I know we've talked about this card before, but this should be one that, just kind of an oddball one. Like, I know we're both fans of both, and so why not kind of get into it and talk about it a little bit too. Yep.
Good. Well, we appreciate everyone listening, and we'll see you next week on an all-new episode of The Payoff.